Okay, I found this little video on social media and I have no idea when it was taken. I have no idea how it started. I'm not even exactly sure how it ended, but I want you to watch how this guy handles this lady who is really loud, rude, obnoxious. And I'm going to talk about three things, at least three basic things I would have done different if you're trying to effectively and successfully de-escalate this situation, right? Check out this video.
No, sober up! Please leave us.
Step up for a man. You gotta step up for a boy.
Yeah, because I'm not a fucking weak bitch. What are you, a sexist too? You're a sexist too.
Keep going, keep going. Keep it rolling, keep it rolling.
Yes.
Keep it rolling.
Why?
Come on.
Your girls are no, sober up. Please leave us.
First of all, take a moment and assess the situation. Do you have to engage with someone who's loud, rude, obnoxious? If not, do an about face and walk away. From the video, it looks like the both of them are customers in this little store restaurant. No reason to have to stay engaged in each other's faces like that. The guy could have just turned around and walked away. Now, she seems to be really, really upset, doesn't she? And she's doing everything she can to be antagonistic, confrontational, and aggressive. She's pointing in his finger. She's taking that bottle. She's getting it within inches of his face. She's getting up in his face. When he turns away, she makes a point of making sure that she gets back inside his field of view. Very antagonistic. And again, all he had to do was walk away. However, let's say he can't, or you can't. You're in a customer service industry and you have to deal with someone as loud and as rude and obnoxious as she is. Angry customer, angry client. Couple things I would say do differently so that you don't inadvertently escalate the situation. Number one, avoid squaring off on someone when you're talking to them. When they're angry and upset and you stand squared off on them like this guy was, it can come across as being aggressive, antagonistic, and confrontational also. And this person deep down inside who's already upset can view this as an act of aggression or opposition and a further challenge, right? So what I say you ought to do is just stand bladed, right? We call it bladed, so that your chest is off at a 45-degree angle to their left or right, so that you're not actually squared off on them. This way you also can have your hands out in front of you about this high, no more than about mid-chest level, just above you, about your sternum right here, just about where you see my hands are in the camera, about right here. You don't want to throw your hands up in their face. That can be very antagonistic. So your hands are down below right here to gauge this reactionary gap. You always want to make sure you have a reactionary gap between you and this person who's loud, rude, and obnoxious, who could potentially become physically violent. If you don't have a counter, a chair, or table between you, you want to make sure you have a good reactionary gap. So stand so that your chest is offset to the left or right. And if you're a martial artist, have you noticed that by standing this way with one trailing foot, it kind of sets you up into a stance? So don't square off on someone. Number two, generally, a smile can be one of the most effective conflict de-escalation tools you have. But just like any tool in real life, you mistime it, you misuse it, it can bite you in the butt. Now, this guy in the video is laughing and smiling in her face at a really inappropriate time. She is not in the state of mind to have someone basically laughing at her. That's only going to inflame and incense her that much more. That's going to be an escalating factor in this situation. So if you're dealing with someone who's loud, rude, and obnoxious, even though a smile can be a very effective tool, make sure you assess the situation and recognize, is this the moment I can start smiling empathetically, sympathetically, or do I need to just maintain a serious face and just be engaged in the moment? The other thing I would not do that this guy started to do is this unnecessary hand movement. This can come across as someone who's already upset, is very antagonistic and confrontational. Here's the other thing, consider this. Because of the lack of a good reactionary gap between him and her, if he had accidentally touched her, she can absolutely claim, hey, he hit me first. Because that's what she's going to say. He hit me, he punched me, he shoved me first. And then this whole thing can absolutely escalate into something that goes really way off the rails. So, slow down, assess the situation. Do you really have to engage with this person? If not, do an about face and walk away. Now, here's the challenge. We don't want to have people walk all over us. I totally get it. People can't be just going around disrespecting us. But here's the challenge. Where do you let it end? Because the moment you speak up and they decide that you're being confrontational and oppositional and they decide to take it up a notch, do you get sucked into a back and forth that could potentially escalate? Or do you maintain that self-discipline to recognize, okay, I said my piece, this person is a nut, I'm just going to walk away? Because I saw on some social media comments on people in other situations where they're like, no way, I'm not going to let this person disrespect me. And you look at the video and the situation they're in, and it absolutely escalated. It's a balancing act. Slow down, assess the situation. Do you really need to engage? If not, just walk away. But if you do have to engage, don't square off on someone. Stand, especially if you don't have a counter or chair or table between you. Make sure you have a reactionary gap, a distance between you and that person, and make sure that you don't stand squared off on that person. Because again, deep down inside, primally, intuitively, they may consider this something oppositional, confrontational, and aggressive. Don't smile and laugh. Number two, don't smile and laugh into someone's face who's at the peak of their anger, aggression, and crisis. That can be very escalating. And then all this, number three, all this hand movement, avoid all that. Avoid all of this. This is very unnecessary. It can be very escalating. What would you do? Have you been in a situation like that where someone's just loud, rude, obnoxious? Can you honestly look back and go, yeah, I probably could have handled that differently? Or did it work out for you? Be careful. Take a slow, deep breath. Assess the situation, because if you don't have to engage, walk away. Walk away. We'll see you on the next video.